Well, hello everybody. Happy Friday, TGIF. It's our TGIF stream. Made it through the week. And we are in downtown Marigot. At what they call the Lolas. And Gabe's just getting a battery for the Starlink. So no stream yesterday because the Starlink was down. So I was everywhere. And we are at the waterfront right next to what they call the Lolas, which I'm going to show you. I'm just going to put the glass down so I don't look like an, walking around with a camera and a glass in my hand. So it's a whole row of restaurants. All local restaurants, all individually owned restaurants, no chains. A couple of them are closed right now because it is low season. Up there we have Fort Louis. And over here we have the I love SXM sign, one of the selfie spots. And if you were with us this morning for our premiere of the latest drive from Orient to Marigot, right to this sign. That's what we did. Here is a kind of CrossFit training workout station. And we should have a sunset. Well, there's still a little island on the way. Too many islands around here. So those little Lolas, those little individually owned restaurants used to be in a really big building over there until 2017, until Irma struck. So if you look at old pictures of Marigot, you can see that old colonial style building over there that had all those little food stalls in them. And then that got totally destroyed in Irma. And then they built these, which are kind of more like, I think they're basically containers. So I think that was supposed to be a temporary thing, and then it became more of a, forever thing.
That's actually out too. Like, that's why we haven't been talking in months. Bro, I'm like, I be getting to my own. When I get to my own word, I'm gonna say, y'all call
So we are going to move over there one by one. I'm gonna get the glasses. Oh, I move it over here. The Starlink disconnected again. That's why Gabe is getting the battery. Could also be all the cat hair on the Starlink. All right. Look at this. Gotta move over here so we don't have the seawall in the way. And you're gonna be on this big rock here. Just on time, Mike's yacht is pulling in, hiding the sun. That's disappearing behind a cloud anyways. I think that's the St. Bart's ferry. Boat watching and cold rosé, isn't that perfect? What just touched my? What did touch my foot? What touched my foot? What was it? The way you say nothing makes me think it wasn't a kitten. Was it an iguana?
No.
Ah, it was a rat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay, I'll just stand here and hold the camera. We're not putting the camera back there. I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a
He
big
ran right
tail.
into your foot.
Yeah, I felt like a long, like. Ugh. Okay, there are rats in those rocks. So yeah, that's the St. Bart's ferry. Anchoring right over there. So the blue, what you see here, the kind of blue covered tent-like things, that's the market. So during the day you have market stalls here selling like, you know, local fabric and clothing and little trinkets and things. And so next to it you have the ferry terminal. And then behind it, what you don't see here are like really good food trucks. And it looks like we're having another sunsetless sunset. And I'm not getting too close to those rocks anymore. I felt something hit my foot. And it kind of feels like, you know, when you have an iguana tail hitting you, except that it apparently wasn't an iguana, so we're not going back to those rocks. Hey John, yes, we have been to Orient Beach. We actually uploaded a drive from Orient Beach back to here to the Marigot Waterfront this morning. So yes, we have been to Orient Beach and we have enjoyed some of those amazing restaurants out there right on the beach. Where did Gabe go? He's over there. What? He saw the rat, which we have no confirmation of. We don't know if it was a rat. But judging by Gabe's face, it wasn't an iguana, so. And I didn't see it, I just felt it. So we haven't been to St. Bart's yet. And we haven't been to Anguilla yet, so we haven't done any of the surrounding islands yet. Okay guys, can I leave you unsupervised for a second? I'm gonna go and grab another glass of rosé. Alright, here come your St. Bart's travelers. Taking the ferry for the day over to another island. I'm not sure how long it takes to get over there with a ferry. So Gabe has confirmed, well, as I was getting another glass, Gabe has confirmed, he's still over there at the bar, he has confirmed it was indeed a rat. He wouldn't really tell me about the size, he just said it was a fine rat, so whatever that means. Now we have a fat snapper and a fine rat, whatever that is. Valerie, I would have to confirm if we have jackfruit here. We definitely have breadfruit here. Do we have actual jackfruit? I haven't seen any. I don't know when the season is. You know, right now we, for example, the mangoes, they ripen here a little later than in Key West. So right now is actually still mango season, while in Key West it's more like in May and June. And then on the island, since you have all the different heights with the hills and the mountains, it doesn't really ripen at the same time. So where you see most of the local fruit is like on the side of the road, the little stalls, the locals selling those fruits. In the supermarket, you don't. Besides mangoes, I haven't seen a lot of local produce. It comes in from the other islands. In the French supermarkets, you have a lot of vegetables and everything, Guadeloupe, Martinique. So I would have to check the side of the road for jackfruit. So I read an article about just today about how smart specifically redfoot tortoises were. I was surprised that the article was specifically about those tortoises. And so earlier, as we were discussing how to proceed with the cistern, one of those tortoises comes up to me and kind of looks like, just sits there and stares at me, and I started to pet it and was really happy. So I will have to spend more time with the big tortoises. The babies have taken a lot of our attention because we kept finding little hatchlings that we then put in the preschool aisle. And now we have one in the middle school aisle that is going to graduate to the big garden soon. It's becoming too big, and it's kind of just racing up and down in his area. And then we discovered about a week ago that we have one special needs baby tortoise. So we named him Cyclops. And so he's missing an eye. We didn't notice, so he's not like a baby. He's not teeny tiny. I mean, he's still young, but I mean, he made it to probably in human years, 5 or 6 years. And we didn't notice until recently that he's missing an eye, but it didn't happen recently. So it looks like maybe something hit his shell when he was small, because his shell has a dent in one spot. Probably where his head would be when he kind of retracts it, kind of in the front. Anyway, so I discovered that he has a hard time chewing because the whole one side of his face is a little deformed. So now I started chopping up salads and leaves and everything I can find. So he's doing great. So his name is Cyclops. Oh, ferry goes back out. I see the rats. I don't know if you saw them. They came out. They sure were some fine rats. Okay, I got sidetracked. Here goes the Voyager Dreamliner back out to St. Bart's. Off to St. Bart's, and we're definitely gonna head over to St. Bart's at one point. I've never been, I heard a lot about it. I think in January we have some Key West peeps coming over to St. Bart's. Okay, so we have a range of barbecues over here that kind of just stand here. I'm not sure. Look at this, a Caribbean sunset and a barbecue. And when we go to St. Bart's, I want to go to the ruins of Autour du Rocher. Oh, for those of you who weren't there last time I told the story, so we met a guy here who lives on a boat. We met him at one of those jam sessions, where people come by boat. And, the place was packed, so we, let him have a seat at our table. And it turns out that this guy knew our neighbor, David Wegman from Key West, and that in the 70s they were all hanging out with Jimmy in St. Bart's. And so specifically he mentioned Autour du Rocher. And so, as you might know, Jimmy wrote a song called Autour du Rocher, which is about a place where they used to hang out in the 70s apparently, and that burned down. And I think the ruins are still there, so we're definitely going to go and check that place out. Okay, where did those little rats go? I saw two. They were kind of fluffy. Not too bad. So this here, the Marigot Waterfront, has been filled in. As you can see, it's all flat here. So a long time ago, this was kind of an extremely rocky beach. I'm not sure you can really call it a beach. So they filled it in. Oh. Doggy on a dinghy. No, we're not getting much of an afterglow here tonight. Oh, another fun fact, talking about Jimmy Buffett. So Jimmy wrote a song about Johnny Holiday, which I have to admit I didn't know. I mean, I knew the song Margaritaville. I didn't know much about Jimmy Buffett before I moved to Key West, to be very honest. And on the other hand, since I had lived in France before, I knew who Johnny Holiday was. And Jimmy wrote a song about Johnny Holiday, which I think is on the last album that he released. So that's another song that Gabe has been looking into. It's really funny how all the things kind of tie together. I mean, who would have thought that we would bump into somebody who knows our neighbor from Key West from the 70s? And we have met a lot of other people that had links to Key West, so it's really interesting. We've met a lot of people that live on boats. Actually, day before yesterday, we were going out with a couple of people, and one of them was a couple living on a sailboat, or actually on two sailboats, and they were leaving today for Martinique. So there are a lot of seasonal workers. I mean, as you know, St. Martin, just as Key West, is in the hurricane area. So a lot of people here go south during hurricane season. So we all went to we found a really good Moroccan place here. So they have left today. A lot of places are closing for the summer. Interestingly enough, some other places have already reopened because they closed earlier in like June and early July. I'm staying far away from the rocks, guys. I'm walking on the sidewalk here. Over there we have some people picnicking. Fort Louis isn't lit up yet. Places closing for the summer. Over here, the Lolas. Normally, each booth is one restaurant. So some of them are closed for the summer. Some of them have been here forever. I mean, not in this location, but in the previous building. And for the little story, for the sake of it, actually here was one of the first places, the very first time we came to St. Martin. We came in, I think customs took quite a while, and we were on our way to our Airbnb or whatever place we had rented. And we drove through here and we saw the sunset right here. And so we stopped, and over there is a place called Sandy's, which seems to be over there. I don't know if you can read it. But there's this place called Sandy's, and that's the first place we ever stopped here in St. Martin, and we had a drink and watched the sunset. Not super bright colors. We get a little bit of an afterglow there. So in terms of upcoming streams on Sunday, I'm gonna have one of those longer streams from the floating bar in Nettle Bay in the St. Martin lowlands, which are actually kind of far over there. So I'm probably gonna start around at least half an hour before sunset time. So Gabe and Julien are going to play a mix of, French, English, British, US songs. Which is another thing that's very interesting, is that, we're still discovering. And so a lot of the European public, people visiting from Europe, whether it's like France, we heard some German, we heard, I think we heard a lot of Spanish as well. So you have the people that either know music kind of more of a British background on the island, or you have people that want American songs, and and then they normally either American or Canadian. So it's a pretty funny mix. So the guys are trying to work that out. There's another ferry coming in. Maybe that's the Anguilla ferry. Coming into the ferry terminal. Courageous runner. Although I might join him running if I see those rats again. I'm keeping an eye out. I have seen 2. But if you feel a rat tail kind of like scraping your foot, it's the only comparison I have is when you have an iguana running over your feet. Very similar. So guys, yes, we have a stream on Sunday night, long stream from the floating bar, and tomorrow morning we're gonna upload another video. Actually, it's gonna upload overnight. Let's see if Starlink is working. If it is, tomorrow morning we'll have the premiere where we can gather with a little cup of coffee, giving you another glimpse of a day in St. Martin. What are we doing in that video? What were we doing? We were doing a hardware store trip, a grocery shopping, but on the Dutch side. So you get the difference to the French shopping, grocery shopping that we did in the previous video. And then we were grabbing lunch. So that will be up tomorrow morning, and Sunday night we're going to be at the floating bar. We'll have a boat on. That's what it's called, boat on.
Boat on.
And I'm going to try to grab that Starlink in between the rocks. I saw 2. I saw 2 rats. Yes, I saw 2. So have a great night, everybody. See you guys tomorrow morning.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye, guys. Take care. Thank you, Izzy and Rob, for the super chat. Thank you, Alan. Have a great night, everyone.